And it is, for the second time this season, lights out, and away we go. Can we get a better launch than the McLarens? We have got a better launch than Stoffel Van Dorn. We get past Alonso, Perez, Ocon, Hulkenberg. I don't even know who we're getting past. Sainz. But what a start that was, up to 11th, and Sainz, and we've run quite wide actually at turn 2, and Hulkenberg, oh, Sainz has hit us, and pushed out the way a little bit, but it's a bit crazy, Hulkenberg and Sainz just got past us. What a fantastic start we had there. But the slipstream alone, which is really surprising these 2017 cars, the slipstream alone is just going to get us past, easily past Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz isn't budging, a bit like Hulkenberg earlier, but we do lock our front brakes, but we do get past Carlos Sainz. Can we even get ourselves into a points position? Stroll's got no DRS with the Mercedes engine, but surprisingly with our Ferrari engine, we outpace the Williams with that DRS, but Stroll's not moving, of course, our arch nemesis for this series. Can we get past him? Stroll still holds the outside line, he's not budging whatsoever, and it's the last corner, it doesn't go well, two abreast, who's going to have to back it? It's going to have to be Jones. Ocon takes our sort of advantage of us going wide at that corner, so we can't make a move on Stroll just yet, but we defend from Ocon. At that corner, as you can see, the II go a little bit slow into that corner, and a bit up further up the inside, and we comprehensively take the position off Lance Stroll. We've got up the inside of Stroll. It's going to be quite an easy move. Stroll, though, has a better break, but we have a better second phase. That's turn 2, coming to turn 3, and we've got past Lance Stroll. Will we finish 11th? I think it looks like we're going to pass Alonso easily down the straight with that horrible Honda end, and we come across the line and come in 11th of the Chinese Grand Prix. 11th place, not too shabby at all. Hello there guys, welcome back to the Haas Career Mode, episode 3 today from the Bahrain International Circuit, the Sakir International Circuit actually, in Bahrain. So obviously last time, mate, we didn't have a great episode. We started really well in Australia, we got 7th place, but in China it didn't go quite as well. But we're straight into the Bahrain practice session, nothing really happened between races, and we're trying to get some more resource points to get some upgrades. And on the story of upgrades, I've got a piece of paper here that tells you all about the upgrades. So we've got the new ignition system that we bought in Australia to upgrade the engine power. And then unfortunately the central under tray, which was meant to reduce the weight of the chassis, has failed. So that's kind of 1,000 resource points wasted, but luckily they were supplied by the team, so not to worry really there. And as you can see, we just got optimal fuel usage. We've done quite well in practice, as you can see, the resource points. Track acclimatization perfect, fuel saving perfect, 6 laps completed, even not competed, 15, and as you can see, 151 resource points overall. So that's it for practice, fairly short practice session today. Don't really want to ramble on too much. And here we go then for the qualifying session, of course, out the sunset and lovely, the Bahrain International Circuit. I think it's really good in real life that they've made this one a night race. It's something unique, I think, for the F1 calendar. Of course, we had it first off with Singapore, but now we've got it with Bahrain. It makes the things a whole lot better. I've always liked Bahrain anyway. It's a really nice track to drive, and one that I'm usually good at. So our first lap was pretty atrocious in qualifying. I must admit, we only qualified 19th to start with, but we're going a little bit quicker, only 7/10ths off. I presume that's the top man. I presume it's probably Bottas from that graphic up there we've just seen. We're about 2/10ths up, so a 10th up per sector, and we're 1.9 seconds off, which actually isn't too bad, but I don't quite know what everyone else has done. But this could be the 3rd time we're knocked out in Q1 this season, and will it be? Yes, it will, unfortunately. Only 19th place for us today, and that's not great whatsoever, but Grosjean's doing really well in qualifying at the moment, and this is actually recorded just before the 1.5 patch, I want to say. And all I can say is it gets a lot better qualifying-wise after that patch. But anyway, Grosjean seems to qualify a lot better. But let's get to the Bahrain Grand Prix and let's see what the grid has for that Grand Prix.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Kimi Raikkonen starts today from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Perez, Stroll, Massa and Esteban Ocon, Kvyat, Hulkenberg, Romain Grosjean and Sainz, Palmer, Van Dorn, Pascal Wehrlein and Fernando Alonso. A Haas and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So Grosjean qualified in P13. We're obviously second last, so we really need a good start to optimise what we've got. We haven't got much brilliance at the moment, but saying that, it's all been about the races so far. If you haven't seen the other 2 episodes, I'd really recommend it, because we've been really good in the race. We've really struggled in qualifying, but after qualifying, we've really done well in the races. We've gained lots of positions on the first lap and generally done really well. So we're sorting our stint set. We're going with soft, and then super soft to end the race. And here we go straight away for the start. So we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights here at Bahrain, and it is lights out. And away we go, going into the rich fuel mix. Actually overfueled ourselves for this Grand Prix just so we can use that rich mix a little bit more. We get past Alonso easily on the start and Pascal Wehrlein as well. We're going to dive it up the inside into turn 1 and get past Van Dorn, Palmer, Ocon, and I believe Grosjean as well as our teammate. And Ocon's going through a little bit quickly as well. He's in 11th place. I think he started in 12th. Actually, the engine's showing small signs of wear. So that's not all that brilliant, but we do get past Ocon on the straight. Can we get past Massa on even Ricciardo? We've got the inside of those two, and actually there's no overtaking, so someone I presume has spun at some point, and unfortunately that yellow flag to come into force just before we overtook Daniel Ricciardo, so that means we have to give the position back to the Red Bull driver, and that would have been a really good position to get, of course, ahead of one of the Red Bulls, but it looks like it just wasn't to be, unfortunately, on this first lap. But from 19th to 10th, I think that's what anybody would have took, but as you can see, we get to the end of the first lap, and obviously we've got the Ferrari engine, which in this game is pretty good compared to the Renault, and the Renault is quite bogged down on the straight, but not as much compared to the McLaren Honda. The Honda is just awful on this game, but we're on the straight there, the main straight, and we make a move on Ricciardo, and on the slower tyres, easily we get past him, and Hulkenberg's been overtook by Stroll, no surprise there. Stroll with the Mercedes engine, and Hulkenberg with the Renault engine, but actually Hulkenberg keeps his place and blocks Stroll a little bit into that turn 2 left and right complex, and that means we get a run on the Canadian, our arch nemesis, of course. We go up the inside of Stroll, and that is a pretty good move. And can we get the inside of Hulkenberg as well? That's quite a good corner for us so far. It seems that the AI brake quite early there, and you can optimise quite a wide corner if you think about it, really. And it's definitely 2 abreast round there, and you can make positions up. But as you can see, Hulkenberg keeps it round the outside and keeps that position, but we don't. Well, I thought we were going to go for a dive up the inside, but we don't there, and the tyres have won a little bit, but we're doing quite well. And up to lap 7 now, nothing happens really. Hulkenberg pulls away, and we pull away from the rest of the drivers. It's really the way it's gone on this game so far, but I do promise you, I've recorded Russia, and that's a brilliant, really exciting race. Check that out in a few days. But as you can see, obviously some of the super soft runners are pit with the less durability on their tyre, and we're up to 4th place, just ahead of Romain Grosjean. A little bit of a strategy thing, obviously I haven't been enforced to this by the team, but I felt as Grosjean was on the better tyre, we come up to this corner and losing as little time as possible, we kind of go a little bit straight on, meaning that Grosjean can go through on the super soft. But unfortunately, ironically actually, he pits exactly on the same lap, so actually it wasn't quite a big advantage as we'd have hoped. But we do get up to, I think it's 3 laps later on lap 11, and we make the pit stop for another set of softs. Valtteri Bottas took his soft tyres to this lap. I'm quite surprised actually, or it might actually be he's done 2 super soft stints before that, but if he has, he's buggered up his race. But we pit on for the soft tyres, and that's Ocon pass. I think Palmer will also overtake us. Van Dorn's in the pits as well, so no immediate threats from behind, and that's 14th place then, coming out the pits. That's quite a solid place to be in at sort of the midpoint of this Grand Prix. I'm quite happy with that. I'd love to get a point today. Our pace is okay, I guess, but I can't see it. Obviously, some people have already made the second stops, like Perez. They've gone to the medium tyres to hope that they can get to the end of the race. Whereas we're only on our first stop, but we do get up to P9 for the moment. And Felipe Massa, who has pit for the soft tyres, I think, to get to the end of the race. I think he's just pit for the soft tyres. No surprise that he's breezing past us, A, with that Mercedes engine, B, with the soft tyres, and C, of course, with the DRS activated. But we do put up a bit of a tussle against Felipe. Really, we're just fighting to impress any team, of course, and for any points that we can get. So we dive up on the inside at the end of the Sector 2, and Massa holds his outside line, but it's a test of going down the straight now. Now you would think that Felipe Massa would have the edge down the straight, but it's quite equal, actually. Really, Massa's nose and his sideboard's just pushing forward ahead of us. But we get a better braking zone, as we seem to, against all the AI drivers, and we get past Massa as he doesn't hold that outside line. But not really much going on, unfortunately, in this race. Not much in the way of battles with other drivers. So, unfortunately, this is going to be quite a short video again. But as I say, Sochi in Russia is a brilliant race, so do not miss that for the world, really, I guess. But we are back down to 13th. We've actually jumped Stroll, I believe, in the pit stops. No, we haven't quite. Stroll is around the outside, and we did a remake of, I think it was Sainz and Stroll, actually, at the Bahrain Grand Prix this year, when Sainz come out the pits. Stroll was on the outside, and there was a little bit of a crash, a little bit like Maldonado and Gutierrez a few years ago in the real-life Grand Prix. Back to the game, of course, with Haas Ferrari, and we tap the back of Stroll, so we were a lot quicker on 2 tyre compounds quicker than Stroll. Obviously, he's on the mediums, and then there's the softs, and of course, we're on the super softs, and we have got no threat from behind, so there's no rush to make this move, really, but just to lose as little time as possible, we want to make the move. We dive up the inside of Lance Stroll, and that is quite an easy move to make. So we're in P13 at the moment, and there's 7 laps to go, just a lap to go now. And there was a train, I think it was Palmer, I can't remember, I think it was Palmer, Hulkenberg and Massa potentially, who were fighting. But unfortunately they didn't lose that much time in order for us to catch up. We did catch up to Palmer, who was overtook by his teammate and of course Felipe Massa. And here we go then, the 2 compatriots fighting on the straight. And for some reason, weirdly, we do brake on the straight, which means our DRS does close for a moment, but I think we've got past Palmer. Do we get past him? No, he doesn't hold that outside line, which turns to the inside line effectively for this corner. But Lewis Hamilton's won the race. He was over nearly a lap, in fact, ahead of us, and that's quite astonishing. But a British winner, which is always nice. I don't particularly like Hamilton in real life, but I guess for the pride of the game and, you know, all of this British stuff, it's all good. As you can see, Palmer absolutely flies past us, and there's a danger that we could have even been crashed into there. But oh well, that's it then for this race. Not a brilliant Grand Prix, I must admit, for you guys to watch, but still 12th place, really well Haas aiming to get. I don't know whether Grosjean got any points. We'll have a look at that just after the podium celebration. So it's Hamilton on the podium, I believe, along with Raikkonen and Vettel. Bottas didn't really have a good race. I think he started on pole. I can't quite remember now. It must have been, I think it was first or second. I can't quite remember. But not great for him in 5th place. But his compatriot Raikkonen finishes second, and Vettel is in 3rd. Bottas, I think, still leads the championship, being the only one of these 4 not to have a bad race. I think Vettel and Raikkonen have DNF from at least 1. I don't think Hamilton's DNF'd yet, but Bottas is, I think, the leader of the championship at the moment. But of course, we're not leading the championship. We're far from it. We had a really good performance in Australia. Not quite good. So good in Bahrain and China. But hopefully with that new internal combustion upgrade, ignition system upgrade, we should be okay for the upcoming Grand Prix. So Grosjean got 4 points. That's really good for the team. 5 positions gained, and we gained 7 positions. So actually, wasn't a bad Grand Prix whatsoever for us. Pascal Wehrlein DNF'd, and everyone behind us, apart from Stroll and Palmer, got lapped. As you can see, we get 6 points, and we get the driver of the day from Anthony Davidson, much appreciated there. And us and Grosjean now are on the same amount of points, 12 points, which is solid for us at the moment. We're drawing with Renault just behind Force India. Hopefully, we can get that 4th place in the constructors. I can't see it, but of course, we have to be we have to have lofty ambitions to get anywhere in this life. But we get quite a few resource points, which is all good, of course. So that's it then for today's video, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Haas career mode and more F1 content, and even some manager content in the future. And anyway, I've been TIJ. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in Sochi for the Russian Grand Prix and episode 4 of the F1 2017 career mode.